Would you like to stop procrastinating? Do you want to learn 5 simple techniques you can use to get more stuff done more quickly than ever before? If so, stick around because in today's episode of The Unspoken Rules, I'll show you 5 science-based techniques you can use to stop procrastinating today. My name is Jamie Turner. You may have seen me on TV or read one of my books, but the number one thing I love to do is to help people like you discover a better version of themselves. Let's start by unpacking why you procrastinate in the first place. One reason is that you believe that motivation leads to action. In other words, you believe you have to feel a sense of urgency before you can actually start working. Actually, the reverse is true. Motivation doesn't lead to action. Instead, action leads to motivation. Think about that for a second. Motivation doesn't lead to action. Instead, action leads to motivation. By taking action, even when you feel unmotivated, a sense of motivation and energy will eventually take over and propel you forward. I call this motivation by movement. When you move and take action, motivation will follow. Motivation by movement. Another reason some people procrastinate is that they grew up in a household with a lot of chaos. The theory is that people who grew up in chaos store their energy in anticipation of a new round of chaos in the near future. In other words, they train themselves into inaction as a way to have the energy for more chaos in the future. It takes a little bit of effort to work your way around that dynamic, but by understanding the source, you'll be able to deal with it better moving ahead. Okay, let's move on to 5 ways you can avoid procrastination, many of which I came across on an excellent blog post on the Science of People website. Check the link in the description for that blog post. Tip number 1, create a not to-do list. This is a counterintuitive idea, but it can be a game changer. Your list can include things like do not open your emails, do not read your texts, do not check social media, do not, well, fill in the blank. By creating a not to-do list, you can minimize the sideways energy that goes into unproductive tasks. Tip number 2, work in 90-minute sprints. The U.S. Army conducted research that indicates people have more focus and energy when they work in 90-minute sprints, followed by 15 or 20-minute breaks. When you work in a 90-minute sprint, you're able to stay focused, work quickly, and then reward yourself with a 15-minute break. Tip number 3, go public with your goal. This is one I learned from Tony Robbins, who said that one of the best ways to stay motivated is to have an accountability partner. Your accountability partner can be anyone who will hold you to your task. I found that my best accountability partners are people who I would be embarrassed to fail in front of. That might be your boss or a family member or anyone who can motivate you on both a conscious and a subconscious level. Tip number 4, find out when you do your best work. A study by Jennifer Ackerman found that our brains are most alert 2.5 to 4 hours after waking up. This is the time of day when your brain is on steroids and doing its best work. A lot of people do menial tasks when they first get to the office. They clean out their inbox, they get organized, they do things that don't move the ball forward. But those first precious hours are your best. So do your most important work earlier in the day. By doing so, you'll get more done in less time. Tip number 5, tie your to-do list to your dreams. When we write down something on our to-do list, it can feel like a burden. For example, write today's blog post or finish the report can seem like a pain in the ass. But studies show that when we tie a goal to a dream, we're more likely to complete it. In other words, instead of thinking about writing a blog post as a to-do item, think of it as a first step towards a bigger dream. For example, writing the blog post will lead to a bigger following, which will lead to more speeches, which will lead to more revenue, which will lead to more time with your family, trips abroad, or whatever. By connecting your to-do items to a dream, it's much easier to get off your rear end and get started on things. If you like what you saw here today, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. To download my 53-page guidebook called The Unspoken Rules of Leadership, click the link in the description below. And don't forget to click here in order to watch more videos like this one. My name is Jamie Turner. I'm an author, a professor, and a speaker at events and corporations around the globe. I'll catch you next time.